This type of utopia that Bruce was trying to achieve it will never exist in this life. It won't.
The two options for this are Eminem or Batman.
Bro, that's mine.
Are you serious? Bro. Wait, maybe we should talk about this. Welcome to the Point of View podcast. My name's Uyiosa.
And my name's Osatohamen.
And here we are today for another episode.
Yep, we're super excited to be here once again.
Yeah, so this week we are talking about another movie. I think we said a while ago that we would switch it up between a TV show and a movie, but there's just so many good movies.
There's just so many good movies, and over the years I've slowly stopped watching TV shows, but Yosa's continued to watch TV shows, and so I'm kind of in the in-between. I'll watch a TV show here or there, but then I'll watch a lot of movies. Also, I feel like if it becomes big on TikTok, I'm like, all right, let me see what this is about. I've just stopped watching TV shows, so it's actually hard for us to find a TV show that both of us have watched that isn't some kids show,
literally
Yu-Gi-Oh or something like that.
Pokemon XYZ.
Literally. But yeah, like Yosa said, we're talking about The Dark Knight today, which is part of this Batman trilogy that I think most people know what it is, or at least heard of it, or know who the villain, the Joker, is. But stay tuned for a mid-segment kind of break. We decided to do this fun little thing, so stay tuned for that. But quick summary about The Dark Knight. Funnily enough, when we were planning this, for some reason in our minds, we were like, oh, this is the first movie. Because, it's the Dark Knight trilogy, but it's not actually, the first movie is not the Dark Knight.
The first movie is called Batman Begins, which I guess makes sense. But
no, it does. And so, even when I was, trying to remember and, watching some summaries to make sure I cemented my knowledge, I was like, this is really interesting that this is all happening in the first movie. But
I know, she's saying, this person dies and this, and I'm like, I thought that was the second movie, but I was like, oh, it must have been the first. And then I actually looked at the summary and I was like, hold on.
No, this has to be the second movie.
Yeah.
But by this time, Batman has already kind of established himself as the Batman, and he's kind of working with the police as this kind of vigilante trying to get rid of organized crime. Mm-hmm. And as we all know, Batman is Bruce Wayne, who is this multi-billionaire, kind of like Tony Stark in a way. It gives that vibe. And in this, there's just there's the main villain, the Joker, and the Joker, there's so many different type of mini villains, but the Joker is kind of the main villain.
Yeah.
The Joker starts out as, we see him start out as this bank robber, and he basically convinces all the other bank robbers that he was working with to kill each other so that they could get more of the reward money from robbing the bank. And then once they all kill each other, there's one person left. He's like, okay, bye, and then kills him and then runs away with the money. And so the Joker is basically the main villain, and Batman is trying to, we said, trying to get rid of organized crime. He's working with the police to there's different avenues that he's working with the police to get rid of Gordon and Harvey Dent. And so Harvey Dent is basically the second male lead, I guess.
Yeah, in a way.
And there's also Rachel, which is his childhood friend, who he had always kind of seen himself ending up in a relationship with, but she actually ends up being in a relationship with Harvey Dent. And what happens is that the Joker is trying to basically get Batman to reveal his identity, and Batman's to save everyone, he's okay, I will I'll say that I am Bruce Wayne. Was I'll tell everyone I'm Batman. And Harvey Dent is no, we can't do that. We need to protect Batman. And so he decides to say he is Batman. And so the Joker basically kidnaps Rachel. I'm skipping a lot, but kidnaps Rachel, kidnaps Harvey Dent, and takes them to do two different locations, tell his Batman that you can only save one, and he tells the location of Rachel, in air quotations, to Batman. So he rushes over, and him and Harvey both realize that, oh no, I went to the wrong place. This isn't where Rachel is. So both the locations blow up, and Harvey becomes this like he like half of
Half
his
his
face
face is
gets
like
burnt off.
burned.
He becomes like Two-Faced, and he becomes this villain, and there's just so many different things. And basically the Joker, his whole purpose was to cause discord, to cause distrust. And so he knew that if he could convince Two-Face or Harvey Dent, who was this he was the DA, right?
Yeah, he was like, I no, I was Rachel the DA. He was like someone that like worked with the public, like he was a
Yeah.
DA or something like that. But him and the police and the Batman basically were just all working together.
And he was like the face of like, we are going to
yeah.
get rid of organized crime. And so basically like the Joker knew that if he could like twist the narrative that Harvey Dent is this two-faced villain that, you know, has been corrupted and everything, he could then sow distrust and discord within like the whole community, between like the criminals and between like the regular people. Mm-hmm. And so what basically at the end, like Batman decides to take the fall for Two-Face. Two-Face dies, and that's the sort of happy ending of it. But
and Rachel
Rachel dies
too,
so.
Because he couldn't save them both. No. So, but kind of just talking about it a little, like this is kind of like a segue from the first movie, because the first movie is basically just all about his background. It's like how he becomes Batman, what happens. So the Dark Knight is like the first movie we really see him as Batman. And so I think an interesting thing about the Joker is that the Joker represents a side of Batman that he could have become. The Joker is literally just like just the opposite of the Batman. He also lost both of his parents. I mean, the difference is the Joker's dad was like abusive. That's why like he has like the scars for like
his
the
dad
smile.
is the one that cut him with a knife.
Yeah, and so like we see like how they both like had kind of grown up on their own. They both had terrible childhoods, but we see the Batman chose to almost fight for good, to make something good out of it despite having a horrible childhood. But we see the Joker is the complete opposite. And so I think,
and also while you were saying that, what came to my mind is he was the complete opposite in terms of even finances. Do you think that Batman or Bruce Wayne maybe he could have become the Joker or Joker-like if he was in the same financial situation? The reason Batman was okay
because he was rich. Yeah.
He had the butler, Albert, right?
Yeah.
Like
Alfred. Did you say Albert?
No.
Yes, you did. Albert. It was Albert.
I don't know.
But you're right.
No, like, I swear there was another thing I watched it. I mix up like, I feel like I've done this a few times where it's like the names are similar, and I feel like
there's too many similar names in different series, but
no, it is Alfred.
For
that
sure.
That when I said it, I was like, this doesn't sound right, but I'm gonna say it anyway. But like, you're right. They're like two opposite sides of a coin.
Just like two different sides. Yeah, of a coin. I was about to say, like, literally we see the Joker's broke. He doesn't have much to live on. He has a disfigured face. He's probably been bullied his entire life. So he's literally always been like the lowest of the low. Bruce Wayne, Batman, he's always been, he was always going to be heir to Wayne Enterprises. He was rich. No matter what happened, he always had something to come back to. And we see that different circumstances make different people into different things. It can make someone into a villain. It can make someone into a hero or vigilante. And so I think the funny thing about this story is like the whole time the Joker's trying to get him to like, oh, well, you have to kill. Like, I want you to break your one rule that you don't kill anyone and all this. And like, he's not able to do it. But then we see that he's able to make, I mean, the end of the series, like Harvey Dent, the Two-Faced whatever killer, becomes evil. He threatens Gordon, like the cops, like children and wife. And so Batman has to tackle him over a building. And because Batman has all his armor, he survives, but Harvey Dent doesn't. So in a way, the Joker succeeds. And so we see that the Joker's twisted mind, that he did all of these crazy things and bombings for this one purpose, because he didn't have a purpose in life. He had nothing. His whole goal in life was that he's been beaten down and hurt. So you know what? I'm just gonna take it out on everybody else. And I think that's just the thing to remember for real life. That it's like the circumstances of your life shouldn't define who you are. Because the Joker became who he was because, yes, he was broke and he didn't have anything to live for and he had abusive parents. But there's people that go through things like that don't end up being a super villain. And yes, Bruce had all the riches in the world, but he still ran away from home. He still felt like he couldn't find his place, but he had to accept his fears. He had to accept the way his life was, and he had to make something out of that.
And even when he did run away, like, back in the first movie, like, I know we kind of skipped over that one, but The Dark Knight, we like The Dark Knight better. Most people do. But, like, even in that, like, you could have said he, like, went off the grid. He literally didn't have his riches, his fame, his wealth anymore. Yeah. He could have chosen to be like, well, I'm, like, in the middle of nowhere. I'm in this, like he went to, like, what, East Asia or something like that?
He could
like,
join Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, he could have been like, I could be a villain. People are evil. Look at what has happened to my parents, that we're trying to do so much good for the city of Gotham. Mm-hmm. But instead, he decided to stay true to himself. And so I think that, yeah, I mean, I was kind of joking that he had the money and Joker didn't. But in a way, it's also like maybe it was your like how he was brought up,
because his parents like treated him well.
Yeah, and it could also just be that he knew that he had been raised in such a way that, like, you need to be a good person, you don't kill, you try and help others, and he just knew subconsciously, because that's how he's been raised, that is the right way to do it.
Exactly.
And so I think that what you were saying is true, that we shouldn't let, I think the only thing I would twist on it is we shouldn't let bad situations define how we act in the future. Because, like, obviously you want to let good situations that have happened to you help you become better and better and better. But we shouldn't let the bad, like, warp our view of the world, warp our view of treating other people. Because, like, that just at the end of the day, it's just not.
No one wins.
No one wins. And, you end up being lonely.
Yeah, you're the Joker that gets arrested, and you don't have anyone because no one likes you. So.
Can you imagine living in, like,
Gotham?
Yeah.
I would move.
That's my thing. I'm like, bro, leave. We've said this about so many things, like so many movies and shows. Like, why are you staying
Why do
here?
You stay, bro?
Please leave.
But also, it's like, I guess in a way, people were thinking like, oh, well, if we all left, then what is there left to fight for? But it's also like, I'm not that attached to my home.
Let the criminals do what they want. The criminals can't be criminals if you all leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Then what are they going to steal?
Yeah, they're going to steal the scraps. Like, go. Like, and the villains have nothing else to do.
I mean, I understand, like, wanting to fight and, like, defend and, like, trying to be a better person. But, like, as a civilian, like, I can understand if you're in a position of power to do that. But as a civilian, why are you staying?
Like, you're not Batman. You're not Harvey Dent. You're not the police. Like, you're just some random person.
Exactly. You could get another
job. Make a
new
life. Probably a better job.
Gotham's, I'm sure their, like, economy is dipped because of all the organized crime. You don't want to be there.
Yeah, me personally, bro.
Kind of like one question that I was thinking of was, do we think that Bruce had really gotten over his, like, traumatic childhood? Do you think that he ever, unlike the Joker who let that, take control of him and continue to use that as almost an excuse to commit all these atrocious crimes? Do we think Bruce ever really healed from that?
I mean, I don't think, like, you can ever truly heal from trauma, but I think, especially in the first movie, we see that in a way he comes to accept life as the way it is. He was angry about Gotham and the organized crime, that his parents that were great people were killed. But at the end of the day, he was fighting so hard to get this revenge, to find the one guy that killed his parents, but he realized that his purpose, that what he'd been taught by Ra's al Ghul and, like, the places he'd went and the trials he went through, he was destined for so much more than just taking out some random street mob killer guy. He was meant to fix the problem. So I don't think he ever truly got over the trauma, but I think he found a way to use that to feel something better, to be able to help more people, and other than just himself, because that wasn't him like destroying organized crime wasn't just healing him, it was healing like we were saying, like Gotham as a whole, because it needed it.
No, so true. And I think that leads perfectly into the next question. Can someone live with trauma and still do good? And I think Bruce Wayne is a perfect example of someone that, how many people could truly live with seeing your parents get shot and killed
In front of you
at such a young age? It doesn't matter if you have all the riches in the world. Like, those are your parents. Those are people you love. And so, like, he had all this trauma. He literally had all the excuses to be bad.
Yeah,
he had all the
villain.
excuses to be like the Joker. Like, the Joker, we like, he had excuses. Like, his was so valid. He had a traumatic childhood. And unfortunately, he just never had the right environment to help him get out of it. But I think that Bruce is a perfect example of, like, you can live with trauma. You sometimes never get over grief. You never get over the loss and pain of a loved one. However, you can live with that, and you can use that to fuel better desires, to make sure that never happens to another person. Because, like, you don't, what's the saying, misery loves company, but you could almost, like, twist that on its head and say, I don't want other people to feel that misery I'm feeling. Like, yeah, the natural the natural thought is to have people come into my misery, and we all are sad and depressed together. But, like, I don't want that to happen to another person. You saw Bruce, he was like, the problem with this city, the reason my parents died was crime. So if you get rid of crime, no child would have to live with what I had to live with.
And I think a character I love, Alfred, not Albert. Alfred plays such an important role in the entire series. He's a father figure. He's someone Bruce looks up to. He's a moral compass. He's a voice of reason in so many times of, like, peril and trial. In the first movie, after his parents had died, Alfred was there. When he left to go run away, and when he came back to finally, inherit Wayne Enterprises and all the things that he needed to do, Alfred was there. When he became Batman, Alfred was there. When things were tough, Alfred was always there. And I literally just love the character Alfred plays, because the reason Alfred did that is, yes, it was his devotion to, like, Bruce's parents and, like, what they'd, like, done for him too, but it's like he also just loved Bruce so much. Like, that was literally his child. Like, Alfred is like his father. And, like, we see, and I don't know, this is kind of a spoiler for the last movie, but one of the scenes that I love is in the last movie, Alfred basically tells, like, Bruce, he's like, when, like, you're happy and when you finally made it in life, he's like, I hope we'll meet somewhere in France and we'll, like, look at each other and we'll know that we both have made it. And they literally show the scene of, like, Alfred sitting down at, like, a table and it's in France, and him and Bruce, like, make eye contact, and they kind of, like, acknowledge and nod at each other, because it's like, I mean, it sucks that they're not able to, like, live that life together, but it just shows that, like, all Alfred ever wanted for Bruce, for Batman, was to just be happy. He just wanted his life to be content. He wanted his life to be fulfilled. And he didn't agree with what, Batman was doing, but he knew that that's what Bruce needed to be able to move on and to eventually be happy. So,
yeah. And I think that Bruce is a perfect example of someone that was striving towards happiness. But the reality of this world is that humans are always going to have evil, and crime is always going to exist. And so this type of utopia that we've talked about in previous episodes, this type of utopia that Bruce was trying to achieve, it will never exist in this life. It won't. Like, people are selfish. There's just so many complexities of humans. But you're right. Like, that happiness that he was striving towards, the happiness of loved ones or the happiness that loved ones want to see in us. I think that could be, like, that kind of moral compass that we all kind of need in our life.
Love Alfred.
Yeah, Alfred. Should we go on to our new, like, little thing?
Yeah, guess the lyric, or guess the spokesperson.
Yeah, so I saw this, like, reel the other day, and I actually really liked it. I thought it was hilarious. It was these two guys, and they basically were like, guess who said this, and it's like some artist, or is it like from a movie or TV show, like a quote,
or like a book or something.
Yeah, and so I was like, let's do that with this one. And
right.
So we have a few of each, and we're gonna guess who.
Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So the two options for this are Eminem or Batman.
Bro, that's mine.
Are you serious? Bro. Wait, maybe we should talk about this. Oh,
I thought about it, and I was okay. It's fine.
Maybe, hopefully it's not. I mean, I can pull up a different one.
Okay,
I had more options.
You do yours.
So I'll pull up. Okay. So your options are Kendrick Lamar or Batman. Okay. So here's the first sign. Sometimes the truth isn't good enough. Sometimes people deserve more. Batman or Kendrick Lamar?
That's Batman.
Good job.
Okay.
And the second one, I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. Kendrick Lamar or Batman?
That's Kendrick, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then here's this last one. Sometimes the truth isn't good enough. Sometimes people deserve more.
That's hard. Sometimes. That's Batman, right?
Yeah. Wait, how'd you get all of them? Fine. I guess you're good at this.
I was like, what does Kendrick sing about? Let me try and figure that out. Okay.
I don't know. I'm not a big Kendrick listener. But
no, I'm not either. But I was like, what
hopefully it's not the same lyrics for
that would be so
Eminem
fun.
that I chose.
Okay. It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me. Batman or Eminem.
It's not who I am, but it's what I am underneath.
It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me.
I thought that's Batman.
Yeah.
Okay.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Batman.
That's Batman.
That's Batman.
That's the most popular quote. Yeah. I know that one. Okay.
We'll do this better next time.
Okay, last one.
I'm not afraid to take a stand. Everybody come take my hand.
That's Eminem. Bro, these are too easy.
These are too easy?
We need to know, maybe not artist, maybe like a book character.
Yeah, maybe.
Or like a movie character. Because I feel like some like artists, like their songs just sound like
Eminem
them.
is just like, he always rhymes. You remember that? Have you ever seen that one interview where he was like, people were always like, I can't make things rhyme, but like that's not true. Like you can do things. And he took like orange. He's like, nothing rhymes with orange if you say like orange. But he's like orange. Like, and then he just started rapping. I was like, this man is a genius. Oh my gosh.
I know, he's so good.
So good.
And he's like, what, 50, 60?
He's our dad's age.
He literally looks like he's 30, bro. Like, yeah. I'm not even kidding.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, that was our fun little...
That was our failed guess the lyric. Or...
I mean, we both got it. I mean, maybe we're just that good. Yeah, Let us know if we're just that good.
Maybe they were hard. I don't know, but...
No, everyone's going to be like, that was so easy.
Yeah, those are like the most simple... I tried to choose like abnormal quotes. Like from not popular songs, but
that's why I tried to pick Eminem, because I was like, I know you don't really listen to him, so
yeah, and also like him and Batman's words sound kind of similar.
They do,
but it's like I don't know.
But like one is Eminem. Like, how are you gonna try and
exactly
fool others about who is and who isn't Eminem?
Okay. All right. Kind of bouncing back. I think. One thing, kind of like I was saying before, but one thing we see is the Joker's goal is to literally bring chaos. It's to not only destroy Gotham, but to destroy people's belief, their good, their morals, because he doesn't have any of that. Like you're saying, misery loves company, and I think the one thing that was like flawed about the Joker's plan, or maybe this is what he planned all along, is I don't think he ever planned to live to see his, like, I don't think he ever planned to live after. I don't think he ever planned to not be caught. I think at the end of the day, his goal was literally to out Batman, make him kill someone, and then wreak havoc in Gotham and kind of just, be the winner. He would be in prison, but, he would be the winner at the end of the day, which is just so, like, it's so empty. It's like, where's the goal? Where's the drive? And it's
the
like
loneliness.
You rot in a prison for the next
He's been lonely his
90
whole
years.
life. Like, I mean, what do you expect? His goal is just to fulfill his own delusional, like, prophecies. He's like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to expose Batman. I'm going to make sure that he becomes this villain.
Like
he becomes
me.
Yeah. And so that to me is just like, everything about that was just like, you saw he's trying to isolate Batman just like he's been isolated.
Exactly.
Misery loves company, and he was trying to do that to Batman as well.
Yeah, and he was trying to warp Gotham. In fact, there's a scene. I was just reminded of the scene. There's a boat scene or there's a ferry scene where the Joker like loves bombs. Like I don't know, but like there's two ferries and there's bombs on both. One ferry is filled with like prisoners and people in jail and like a few cops, and the other ferry is full of like regular like civilians, regular citizens. And so the Batman basically gives him an ultimatum. He gives bombs to both of the ferries. He goes like, if you blow up the other like ferry, like you get to live. And so like you're thinking like, oh well, one of them's prisoners, one of them's criminals, so it's kind of like let's just get rid of them, and then like the good people will like live, right? But like one of the things I love about that scene is there's almost like this struggle back and forth, but finally some like at least like with the prisoners, one guy stands up. And
it was a criminal.
Like, yeah, he goes like he throws out the window. He goes like, we're not doing that. He's like, we're better than that. And then the human, or not the human, the civilian.
Our criminals no longer.
Yeah, they're from outer space, but like the civilians, like the citizens, they also are like, we're not going to do that just because they're prisoners. Like they also like, they're like, we're not doing it. And like it shows like that despite everything that the Joker was trying to prove, that Gotham is poisoned, that crime is taken over, that there's no saving it, that humanity won at the end of the day, that no matter what the Joker did, you can't change how people are. You can't change humans. At the end of the day, yes, we all have a survival instinct, but humans are good. Like humans can be good, they can be evil, but when push comes to shove, we saw that these Gotham people that you would say, oh well, your city's failed, you might as well just blow up the criminals, and they're part of the problem. But it didn't matter. They were humans to them. They were all humans, and they chose good at the end of the day. So yeah, I love that scene.
I love that scene too, and I was thinking about it too this morning. I think that it also just shows that like the Joker had put people into these boxes that didn't necessarily exist, or didn't necessarily exist for everyone. Yeah. I think that what had happened with criminals, like a lot of times criminals are not necessarily like, people don't necessarily commit crime, all the same type of crime. Not everyone is the Joker.
Yeah,
some
exactly.
Criminals, some may be falsely
petty theft.
Some may be falsely accused. So they themselves are just like the regular civilians. It's just maybe the situation of their life that allowed them to end up in prison. And so you saw that like sometimes when you try and put people into these boxes, when you try and say that this person, because of the way they look or the way they think or where the situation they're in, they are this. A lot of times that's not always the truth. A lot of times who are we to judge other people? Who are we to say I'm better than you because I think this way, my way is the highway?
Who are you to judge when you yourself walk imperfectly?
Exactly. And so I think that is a huge like thing that we saw from the Joker, that he didn't understand people
as well as he thought he did.
Yeah, he thought he was this mind psychologist. He's like, oh, I can understand the minds of people. I can change Batman. I can destroy Gotham's way of thinking. But he couldn't, because he didn't truly understand that humans are all diverse in thinking and thoughts and all of this. And so I think that in our lives, how are we putting people in boxes? How are we viewing other people that may be different from us? And I think that we should treat others like the golden rule from elementary school, like treat others the way you want to be treated. And I think that if we just remember that all of us are human beings, I think that this world would be a better place.
100%. And I think kind of the flip side to what we were saying is Harvey Dent did end up giving into like the dark side because the Joker,
Star Wars.
Yeah, he was also burned. Like half his face.
Oh
was
yeah,
burned.
He literally is like
he lost
yeah.
Rachel, like the woman he was like in love with.
Is that? I just realized there's some parallels to Star Wars.
Oh yeah, like they're like he's basically Anakin Skywalker.
No, he is Anakin Skywalker.
And like his face is burned. He lost the woman he
wanted
loved.
to protect the woman he loved.
He wanted to protect like his city and his empire or whatever.
Wow!
And
if you haven't
failed.
seen our last episode, we talked, or is it maybe 2 episodes ago?
Yeah,
we talked about Revenge of the Sith, and it was like the last episode of Anakin, and I'm like, wow, the parallels are.
It's like it's
they're
all
there.
clicking, and they were only made they were made the same year. Revenge of the Sith was 2005, right?
No, but we're talking about. See, you're making the mistake again. We're talking about the Dark Knight.
No, they were made 3 years apart. My bad, but like we're seeing like Harvey Dent shows like the flip side of humans can be bad because we see. He had been blown up. The love of his life was dead. Like, he had literally nothing to live for. The city he'd fought so hard for, the Joker had taken over, and he thought all was whatever. And the Joker comes to his hospital bed, and he's whispering to him. He's like, the Batman is the reason for all your problems. The Officer Gordon and all these people, you need to destroy them. You need to get rid of them. It's their fault that I did this. I never wanted to do this. They're the ones that caused crime to come to your city. And so he takes action into his own hands, and he kills people, and he does things that the old Harvey Dent never would have even thought because he was trying to protect his city. And we see kind of Batman at the end of the day, like you're saying, takes the fall for Harvey and all his actions. In name of protecting Gotham, in name of protecting and fighting for this city that literally is like in shambles. They're literally trying to protect this city that has nothing left. But at the end of the day, that's the sacrifice. And we see Harvey gave into the dark side, but yet he still gets to be the hero at the end of the day. And it's like, who's that? How is that fair? And I think that shows in life that things don't always end up the way we think they're going to. Things aren't parallel. The people that you think are the good guys and you think are going to be with you till the end of the line, they may be warped. Things may happen to them, and they may prove to be weaker than simple prisoners in a ferry. Yeah. Those people could have blown up the other ferry, but they didn't. And it's like, in that moment, those people were stronger than Harvey Dent was at his lowest time too. So I think that shows it's like, it doesn't matter your circumstances. It doesn't matter where you are. It's your choices that show who you are at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And I think that, what you're saying is so true. Like, you don't really know how humans are going to react. And I think that is the problem that the Joker had. We've been saying he's been putting them in boxes. But humans are so complex. You don't know the way people are going to act. And you don't actually fully know a person that you aren't close to, your family, but like a person that you see out on the street, or the person you see on TV, the celebrities, you think that you know them, but in reality, you are putting them again in that same box that the Joker
know what
is.
They show you.
Exactly. And so I think that trying to judge people based off of part narratives or like partial narratives or just not even the full picture is a wrong way to go about life. And we're so complex, and you're right, like Two-Face or Harvey Dent, he at the end of the day, he at his lowest point, he decided to listen to that bad voice, listen to the devil,
the devil on his shoulder.
Yeah, he decided that he was going to fall and be corrupt. And the people that you thought wouldn't, the prisoners, they decided that I have more integrity than that. I'm not going to do something like that to other people. And so, I don't know. There's so many themes, there's so many parallels, and there's just like, I think that The Dark Knight is definitely such an amazing movie. Like,
I'm about to rewatch after this. I'm not even gonna lie. I think I watched Batman Begins the other day, but I haven't watched the second and the third.
I watched them all last year. It was good.
I need to catch up on my series before I leave. Well, I'm saying leave for college. I can't watch it.
Yeah, you can watch them.
But there's something about the summer. It's like I need to watch this series, and then I just watched Now You See Me, the series, and the new one's coming out, so I need to catch up on all these movies.
You watched The Summer I Turned Pretty, right?
Oh, don't get me started.
Everyone's like, my summer begins when this comes out. I'm like,
it's
okay.
literally coming out in August. Like, that summer's over. Like, don't. And that show's gonna make
Our
me
sister
mad.
will say, well, the winter solstice isn't until here, so it's still technically, or I guess is it fall solstice? I don't even know.
Whatever.
So whenever the turn of the season comes, she's like, that's when summer actually ends. And I'm like, okay,
show's gonna piss me off, bro. Like, I'll finish it, but whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of all we have for the Dark Knight today. I mean, let us know if you guys want to do either the first movie or the third movie after. They're also both really good movies. But if you watched all the way through this, thank you so much. Make sure to give this video a like and subscribe and turn on push notifications. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms, which is TikTok and our Instagram. And just make sure to leave a good comment if you like this video. I love to discuss people about the movies.
She's the one that is in charge of all the comments.
I'm a movie fanatic, so I'm like, if you see me on TikTok talking to someone, like, I am like, oh, I know everything about this movie.
Bro, her TikTok makes me so mad because I'm like, have you seen this trend? She's like, I just see edits of movies, and I'm like, bro, get with the real world.
Like, right now I'm on like dorm talk. Freshman dorm.
That when I went to college.
One video of like dorm essentials, and now every other thing is like
that was me my
dorm
freshman
essentials,
year.
And it's like a $300 fan, and I'm like, okay.
No, we'll get the typical like $20-$30 fan from Costco that I got, and then our brother also got. So
yeah, no,
rite of passage.
I'm taking the one from home, bro. Like, I'm not having mine. Everyone's like, you need a diffuser, humidifier, and a dehumidifier. Like, I'm like, okay, bro.
Bro, you're not even gonna use half those things.
Yeah, no.
It's gonna be in like storage the whole way.
Literally. But yeah, that's all we have for today. We really hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we hope you enjoy all our episodes. We really do love these movies and shows. So
we wouldn't talk about them if we didn't like them. So if we're not talking about something, either we haven't gotten to it or we just don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. Like The Summer I Turned Pretty, that will not be making it on this podcast.
Haven't ever watched it. So if you like it, I'm sorry, I will not be watching it.
No. But I guess we'll see you guys next week.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.